What's up, a Cinema Shogun here, and it shocked the entire world, or at least the Britney Spears fandom, a few weeks ago when Britney Spears put out a Instagram post where she was actually being nice to her little sister. And then she put out another post talking about wanting to maybe have tea and a chat with her mom. And I told you all when that happened, I was like, listen, I don't know if this is Britney or not. In fact, this may be the biggest evidence that we have showing that this isn't necessarily always Britney on her Instagram profile. But then again, I made the point that maybe this is Britney growing. Maybe she is, finding some peace within herself. Maybe she's ready to take it to the next step. This is a good sign that maybe Britney is healing. But I also told you all, do not be surprised if a week or two from now, Britney is just trashing everyone again. And here we are today to talk about just that. Now, this actually happened a few days ago, but I've been wrapped up and covering some true crime cases and stuff like that. But I always knew I was going to come back to this point because Britney once again lashed out at Jamie Lynn. Jamie Lynn was speaking about what it was like being Britney Spears' sister. And I'm going to tell you right now, regardless of how you feel about Jamie Lynn, I don't hate her, I don't love her, I'm kind of indifferent towards it. It's not easy. It can't be easy being the little sister of Britney Spears, one of the most famous people, one of the biggest pop singers in the world. So I'm sure for her, it always felt like she was living in Britney Spears' shadow. Even growing up, that's when they were focusing on Britney's career. And then as she got a little bit older, that's when Britney was having the meltdown. So a lot of her life, it's like her parents and her family were more so focused on Britney, whereas she was just the I don't even know what to call it. She was just a tag along, if you will. So I understand that living in the shadows of someone like Britney Spears can be difficult. Regardless of how you feel about Jamie Lynn, regardless of how you feel about anything, I'm not here to tell you she's a saint. And feel free to have your own opinion about her. I'm just saying specifically, that's not an easy task. Well, she spoke out about that, and Britney, of course, flipped out. And it's funny because, let me just say this. If you ever see a Britney Spears post or something happens with Britney Spears and you really want me to make a video about it and I haven't yet, just go back and watch one of my past videos. Because my words still ring true today. In fact, now everything that I've been saying for months now is finally coming to light. It's like I'm being vindicated in some way. I was one of the first people that was willing to say something about it. I was one of the first people with a platform that was willing to take the backlash to go ahead and put out the real deal about what's going on with Britney. Not necessarily about what's going on with Britney, but I gave an honest opinion when everyone else was scared to. I'm not here to tell you that I have any inside information that anyone else doesn't have. That's not really the point of my videos. My videos are honest observations, and I was one of the first people that I guess felt comfortable enough giving my honest take on Britney Spears' situation when everyone else was candy coating everything, and it was obvious that Britney Spears was not in a great place mentally, or there was something going on. So I've said a lot of things that I've gotten a lot of backlash for. But now it's like all of this stuff, it was always there, but now it's like people can no longer deny it. So now I'm seeing people say things that I said 6 months ago. And the controversial things that I said 6 months ago are now just common opinions. So it's crazy to see how everything evolved, and I can't help but talk about that every time I make a video because, people are really coming around, to the fact that something isn't right here. Also, I've gotten a lot of backlash because people feel like I'm I'm mean or something like towards Britney and stuff like that. But it's hard when covering Britney because the reality is we're dealing with kind of a mean, bitter woman. It's like I sit here and cover these posts where she's constantly trashing and attacking other people, and then you expect me to be nice. It's like after months of seeing her trash her mom and her dad, and it was one thing when it was her dad and her mom, and then I don't really feel comfortable with her trashing her sister as much, but okay, whatever, go ahead and do that. But then when it came down to attacking her own kids, that's where I drew the line. So when you're dealing with I'm not saying Britney's ugly on the outside, but when you're dealing with someone who is mean-spirited, which Britney is, I've come to find. And when you're dealing with someone who's constantly being ugly towards other people, regardless if they deserve it or not, it's hard not to give back that same energy. So I think people are realizing now that Britney isn't this sweet, nice angel. In fact, Britney is kind of mean, and she does lash out at a lot of people. And people were giving her free passes, lash out at this person and that person. And then I think she felt so comfortable to the point that she just started attacking anyone, like Selena Gomez, Christina Aguilera's freaking backup dancers and stuff like that. But she put out this post that I really want to go over with you all because now it's no longer kind words for Jamie Lynn. Now she's coming at Jamie Lynn, and it's the usual stuff that I've come to expect from Britney. Let's go ahead and go over the post. Are we going to say it was hard being my sister? Really? Yes, I think it was hard being Britney's sister. And it's funny because it's like no one else can have that moment. Jamie Lynn can't have one moment of sympathy without Britney Spears having to step in and make it all about her. No, you don't get any sympathy for the life you lived. Britney should know better than anyone the treatment that her sister got. I think there's a reason why Jamie Lynn got pregnant at an early age. And Jamie Lynn was at times fed to the wolves as well with Dan Snyder over there at Nickelodeon. So there's a lot of stuff that went on with Jamie Lynn that we may never hear about because Jamie Lynn has been holding herself together, I guess, better than Britney. But it's still to this day, Jamie Lynn can't be her own person. She can't even say anything without Britney making it about her. But let's go ahead and go into the post again. Are we going to say it was hard being my sister? Really? Well, this was my spa plan at Vegas as my childhood friends had their heads held high with a seat for toes and nails and a bottle of champagne for each one of them while I stood at the door not allowed to go in. But bet your bottom dollar they begotten their entertainment from that night. I've learned from the best. Do we dare set aside our self-care and acknowledge a childhood friend? Why, no. We teach her the meaning of mean and throw her away in the end with no self-rights. You want me to share it on telly? I'd rather spit in their faces and trash them on Instagram, because that's all my family has ever been to me. PSSS, here are pics of what nerve damage can do, which I have right side of my body and goes numb every night. Not a victim story or crying about it because I was never a big deal. I sat in a chair for 10 hours a day and no rights for 4 months. They hurt me and nothing was done except that I lost 15 years of my life with my family owning my name, subjected to being an angel while my dad has 5 women on his tour bus drinking cups of coffee. So cool and smooth, it must have been nice owning my name for 15 years. It honestly blows my mind the hardships you say you have had with having me as your sister. I'm sorry you feel that way, but don't ever poke at my broken foot in a kitchen telling me to go to the doctor because my foot infection might infect your royal kids. Woo! Boy, and there you have it. Like I told you, Britney Spears is toxic. Totally freaking, oh my God. So yes, let's go ahead and break this down. What you will come to find, and I guess the Free Britney movement, I guess they did a good job kind of glossing over this fact. What you'll come to find is that most of Britney's traumas, her hardships, revolve around like spa days and cups of coffee. She always goes back to that one spa day where her friends were getting their nails done and she couldn't. They were sipping champagne, getting pedicures, and she didn't. Out of 15 years that she supposedly lost of her life to these traumatic experiences, why does this one spa day stick out so much? And the crazy part is, ladies and gentlemen, is that if you look hard enough, there's pictures out there of Britney at the spa day. Britney sitting in the chairs with her friends at this spa day. Maybe it was a different spa day, but it was in the same period of time. I've come to find in my research of Britney and in my studies of Britney Spears that she is an unreliable narrator. Meaning that she tells you the events in her life, you cannot rely on her side of the story or her viewpoint of things because they are so warped. And a lot of times her reality, it's not actual reality. Just like a couple of months ago when Britney Spears was saying she'd never been to a Jack-in-the-Box in her life. She was never allowed to go. There's photos out there of Britney Spears at Jack-in-the-Box, walking out of Jack-in-the-Box eating. Britney Spears is an unreliable narrator. It's like when you watch those movies and you see the whole story, but in reality you are watching the story unravel and play out through the eyes of an unreliable narrator when in reality there were other things actually happening. It's like the new Joker movie that came out not too long ago. That's the same with Britney. So you'll find that a lot of these traumas are all about spa dates and cups of coffee, limousines and not being in the right area, and stuff like that. Okay? I'm sorry that you've been convinced that it was way worse for Britney than what it was, but it's simply not true. And I'm comfortable saying that after looking into it for months and after hearing from Britney's own mouth. Every time she talks about her trauma and what she went through, it's always miscellaneous things that no one should even care about. And as far as the coffee goes, she acts like this was one big control factor that was held over her life. But the reality is, because of her condition and because of the meds she was taking, she was not supposed to drink coffee. It was not a control thing. It wasn't a controlling thing. It was for her benefit because of her health and because of what she was going through and the medicine that she was on. Okay? So that explains away the coffee thing. And as far as like sitting in a chair for 10 hours a day, how many of you all sit in a chair for 10 hours a day at work? How many of you all are sitting in a cubicle in your office? All of you all do that and you make way less money than Britney Spears. Okay? I wouldn't want to be forced to sit in a chair. I don't think Britney was forced to sit in a chair either. But sitting in a chair for a few hours or 10 hours a day, it's nothing that a lot of you all don't do in your daily lives. This rehab facility that she went to, it is paradise on earth for people like us. You got the pools, you got freaking nice little juice bars. You could go play tennis. You know what I mean? I mean, it's decked out. It's like the average person like me or you, we would pay thousands upon thousands of dollars to stay at a resort that wouldn't even be as nice as the facility that Britney spent that time in. That's like the best of the best. Okay? They got private chefs and stuff like that. It's not what you think it is. People act like Britney was locked to a chair, chained to a chair, and put into a dark room where they just left her for months on end, and that is not the case at all. Britney was living in what a lot of you all would call paradise. So don't think for a second that all of this stuff was the way that the Free Britney movement, or at least some of them, tried to portray it. It was not. Now, do I agree with conservatorships? No. Do I agree with a lot of what happened to Britney? No. Does Hollywood do messed up shit to people? Yes, all the freaking time. All the time. So I don't put none of that, past the situation. But I'm letting you all know right now that it's not what you necessarily think it is. And Britney's stories, they do not really align with reality. And even from her own mouth, it's like, your traumas are nothing to me. I mean, to you all, you may feel like that's traumatizing. But in my mind, I'm like, okay, so what? You didn't get your nails done that day. Oh, sorry, you couldn't drink coffee. Get over it. Also, one key detail that I want to point out is notice how she said telly. Telly. That's what British people call the television. People in America, let alone people from where Britney are from, they don't use the word telly. Why is that so significant? Well, we know that Britney has multiple personalities. People try to act like that's not the case, but that has been common knowledge for a long time. One of Britney's alter egos is a British woman. That's why she uses that British accent all the time. And that's why you see Britney being nice to Jamie Lynn a couple of weeks ago. And now here she is attacking Jamie Lynn, and she's using telly. That lets me know right there that she's probably in her little, oh, she's a British woman phase. She's probably, having one of those episodes again. But hey, it is what it is. But let's take it further than that, because the part that I really get upset about, and if you want to know why is he mean when he makes these videos? I'm not being mean, but yeah, I'm harsh sometimes, because look at what we're dealing with. Some of y'all act as if we're dealing with this innocent angel, and everyone needs to be delicate and be careful. When she's trampling all over people's lives, attacking people all the time. And as you can see from that post, she didn't just stop with Jamie Lynn. She brought Jamie's kids into it. She brought Jamie Lynn's kids into it. Your royal children. Why? Like I told you all, we're dealing with someone who is really ugly, bitter, and mean towards people. So when covering this story, I can't help but sometimes be mean too. Or what some people may view as mean, because I don't think I'm being mean. I just think I'm being honest. Sometimes I'm a little more brutally honest than some people think is needed, but I think I take it easy in these videos compared to what we see, because we're looking at a 40-year-old woman attacking her own sister's kids. For what? Jamie Lynn can't say anything about her life without Britney chiming in and making it all about her. And as you can see, look, what did that post have to do with anything? It's just, Jamie Lynn's getting some attention. Let me bring the attention on me. What about that time I didn't get a pedicure and my dad was drinking cups of coffee with a woman? Nobody cares. You shouldn't care. No one should care. That's nothing. But in Britney Spears' mind, it's the end of the world. Everyone should feel sorry for her. And then she has millions of people in her fan base that empower this behavior. And you're not doing her any favors. You're making her think this is okay. It's not okay for her to be attacking her sister and her sister's kids. If you had a foot infection, then go get it checked out. You're Britney Spears. Don't put it all around her kids. I understand why she would want Britney to go to the doctor. Like, it makes no sense. It makes no sense. But it shows you the type of person we're dealing with. We're not dealing with this sweet, innocent angel. We're dealing with someone that will lash out at anyone. Anyone is fair game to her. Even kids. Her own kids. And her sister's kids. And if she'll attack her own kids and her sister's kids, then she'll damn sure attack your kids. That's the type of, that's how I think about it. When I think of, when I'm judging someone's character. So it's like at a drop of a dime. Jamie Lynn couldn't even talk about her own life without Britney chiming in, trying to make it all about her. And then even in her post, it's so incoherent. It has nothing to do with Jamie Lynn. It's like, oh, your life was hard? What about this one time I didn't get a pedicure and dad drinks coffee and your kids didn't want to get infected by my foot infection? Like, what the hell is going on here? But I'm glad her true colors are starting to show to other people. Like I said, I don't have any ill will towards Britney. All I've wanted is for her to get some type of help. But the more this goes down, it's like the more she's tarnishing her own legacy, because her own fans are starting to realize, and they're starting to get fed up with it. No one wants to sit there and watch a woman attack kids on Instagram all the time. But let me know your thoughts about this down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all in the next video.